am Tamara Grant, and I am here with Dr. Keisha Downey, marriage and family therapist, and we best know her from being on VH1's Couples Therapy. Dr. Downey, how are you doing this evening?
I am great. How are you?
I am fabulous this evening. Fabulous. We're so happy to have you on with us tonight doing this interview. Got lots to talk about here.
Thank you for having me.
So first, you're very welcome. First, I want you to give everybody just all of your contact information so they can follow along with us, all of your social media sites and websites.
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Keisha Downey. That's DrKeishaDowney. And my website, you can keep up with me or just information on my services at www.drkeishadowney.com. And that's DrKeishaDowney. And I'm also on Facebook.
Awesome. So getting started, just a little bit, give us a little bit about your background and how you even got into doing marriage and family therapy.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I have to represent. I am from North Chicago, Illinois, born and raised. And, I got started in this business about 11 years ago. And I didn't know initially this was what I was going to end up doing, but I knew my purpose was going to surround helping individuals. And that was just because people took to me. And, when I was in high school, I was the one that the go-to person when people wanted to figure things out or just needed assistance. But it wasn't until I graduated with my first degree and I was working at a college with students, and the word or what I gave for the day to my students, it really not only empowered them, but it empowered me to want to help more or give back more. So at that time, I decided to pursue my studies more specifically in becoming a doctor, specializing in becoming a psychotherapist. And here we are. I'm in the mental health field doing what I love doing.
Tell us, because with social media and with information being so instant nowadays and so immediate, we're seeing lots of images of so much negativity. There are school shootings, there are kidnappings, there just all kinds of things that are going on that kind of pertain to mental health or have underlying, causes and roots in mental health. What would you kind of tell people to make them comfortable about going to seek therapy, or why? Like, what would you tell them about why seeking therapy could be important?
Seeking therapy is important because it helps to give an individual a voice. So, for instance, if someone is experiencing some type of negativity, or they're feeling depressed or down and out, or we think about the shootings or the killings or what have you, guidance from a therapist may have helped to prevent certain situations from happening. And in therapy, or the therapy process at the beginning, it's really important to outline what is to happen or what's expected in the therapy room. So again, my job initially is to make and provide a safe environment for any and every person that comes into my office. And by doing that, I have a way of just helping the person feel comfortable enough that they will express their inner thoughts, whatever those thoughts may be. And again, that's connecting with the individual and showing and taking an interest in whatever it is that they're experiencing and what they're going through. And that also extends to fully assessing the individual person from birth until what brought them into therapy. So it's really crucial. And when you do those things for an individual, again, the goal is to help them feel comfortable expressing whatever it is that they're feeling. And once I can get an individual to feel comfortable about being in the therapy process, then I've already started to provoke movement. I've already started to help to make that person feel comfortable about the therapy process. So, again, sometimes it's challenging to get a person to come through the door. But once I connect and explain and I get the opportunity to get the individual to understand those things, then sky's the limit at that point.
Tell us some of maybe some of your specialties. Like if someone was seeking therapy, what could they expect as a specialty from you?
Well, I specialize with couples, families, adults, and teenagers. But I deal with an array of issues such as relationship issues, family issues, marital discord, domestic violence, anger management, parenting, grief and loss, depression, anxiety, trauma. I don't discriminate, pretty much. If I feel there's something that I can't help you with, for instance, if someone comes in and they have an eating disorder, that's not my specialty, so I would refer, or it's outside of my scope of practice, so I would refer that individual out. But primarily, the people that I see are dealing with the things that I mentioned. And, again, I do my best to work through or guide the individuals, through whatever it is that they're experiencing. I'm sorry.
So as a marriage and family therapist, you have been featured on VH1 Couples Therapy. So, of course, yes. we can't talk about any of the specifics and anything with any of the clients that you've treated. But tell us a little bit about how you got linked with working with VH1.
So for those who don't know about couples therapy with Dr. Jen, it's been on for 6 seasons. And I have been working on the show for 4 of the 6 seasons thus far, and we recently just wrapped or finished the 6th season. My mentor at the time, a couple of years ago, had asked me had I heard of couples therapy, and I told her yes, and she informed me that they were looking for a resident counselor. So I'm a resident counselor on the show, and I assist Dr. Jen Mann. And I went in and interviewed for the position twice and got hired. And it's just been an amazing experience working alongside with Dr. Jen and assisting her with the couples, the celebrity couples that come onto the show. It's very, very intense therapy every single day, and it's just worthwhile because the couples come in not knowing what to expect, and they walk out just feeling better about their relationships. They feel better about themselves, and just they can take the tools and walk away with them and keep them with them, throughout the rest of their lives.
Now, have you, just on the back end of that, have you had maybe a surge or an increase of people just trying to seek you out for your individual services outside of the show?
Are you asking me because of the show, if individuals...
Right, like are people calling you more? Like have you had an increase in calls that way because people are seeing you and recognizing you and maybe, gravitating towards the way that you do therapy?
Yes and no. I get calls regarding the show, but I think more importantly, I'm known through our psychology website and just referrals and doctor's offices and things of that nature. So I think I'm more established outside of the television show. But I do get a few clients or who contact me because I've been on the show. They've seen me on the show. They like how I do certain things or what have you, and they'll want to seek out my services. But primarily, I'm referred through other doctors, like your gynecologist's office or primary care doctors or what have you, referral sources and other psychological websites.
So being in a helping profession, that can be something that's kind of taxing and can take a lot out of you because you're constantly a giver, you're constantly in tune with other people and what they have going on. Tell us a little bit about how you find balance in your work life and your personal life.
Finding balance is really, really key in this, in what I do. And what I've learned is, or just throughout my experiences, I don't take anything personal. I have learned and actually was trained early on in my graduate studies that when you leave work or leave your office, you leave that stuff there at the office. I don't personalize or take on other people's stuff. I don't let it weigh me down. It's their stuff. It's theirs. It's not mine. So that has helped me get through the day. It helps me to understand. It helps me to not take on someone else's stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. But I also exercise. Meditation is important, and I enjoy spending time with my family. I travel back to Chicago as often as I can, and it helps to keep me grounded. And it just reminds me of where I came from and what caused me or motivated me to get to where I am today. So balance comes from different angles. Again, I do my best to stay healthy, and I also have learned to not take anything personal, and that has been key for me.
I could definitely see how that would have to be key because you have so many people that you're seeing regularly, with all different kinds of walks of life and at different stages of things. So that would be something that could be, really important for you to do. Yes,
it is. And I believe, again, I mentioned earlier that I feel like this is my purpose because there are some therapists who cannot deal with some of the things that are or what clients dish out or what they share or what they talk about in session. And I have dealt with or helped individuals from schizophrenia, bipolar, borderline. People have dealt with so many traumas. You can't even imagine, and it's I'm there. I'm there, and my job is to provoke movement to help these individuals improve the quality of their lives. So I'm just a guide to help them see the bigger picture, and I just love doing what I do. I'm rewarded. It empowers me to just keep doing what I'm doing.
Speaking of empowering, yourself to being empowered to keep doing what you're doing and being passionate about the things that you do, what would you suggest to other people who maybe say, I don't know what I'm passionate about, I don't know what I'm really good at, I don't know what direction I would want to go in life? What kind of encouragement or advice could you give them on how to find their passions and live life passionately and fulfill their purpose?
Somewhere along the lines, I believe an individual know what they want to do. I feel like just there may have been a wrong turn taken at some point. But sometimes we have to go back to the basics and see what it is that really pushed us or what motivated us, or we have to kind of get back to what it is that made us feel good. And sometimes that means just kind of sitting in it and just really just understanding yourself again. And again, it's in there. There's always some type of proof or evidence to support something positive that happened in your life. It's not all bad. You know what I mean? Some people may try to present themselves that everything has gone wrong in their lives or nothing is going the way they wanted it to go. But there's always some type of proof or evidence to support that something positive was or did occur within their lives. And so if they came to see me, we just have to pinpoint that. We have to go back to the basics and see what it was or what was it that kind of was working at the time. And then once we get there and we get into this positive space mentally and emotionally, you sky's the limit. Like I mentioned earlier, you find doors open up. And again, I'm sure you know this, that when you have a clear head and you're in a good mind space, you can do anything. Like you can do anything, and you're just so much more open, and you attract more positive things. But again, to answer your question, I just think it's going back to the basics and relying on that proof or evidence to support whatever it is that was positive that was going on in your life. Sometimes it gets buried over all the chaos that's going on, but it's there. And so, again, in therapy, I can help to find what that was, and then we just kind of go from there. I hope I'm making sense.
It makes perfect sense. It really does make perfect sense because sometimes I think some people don't realize that it's been buried, because when you're used to walking around with your stuff, you don't realize that you're walking around with stuff. And so sometimes it does take somebody else, like a third party or another party, to say, hey, you know, all of this stuff is here. Let's take some of that off of you. And you don't realize that you need it removed until it's been removed.
Right, exactly. I like to call it like sometimes we've conditioned certain behaviors and certain things in our lives. So my job is to help you uncondition those habits. We want to uncondition what has been conditioned to help you move forward in life.
Oh, no, that makes a lot of sense, sense. So give us your websites again. We want to make sure that everybody is able to contact you. And let us know where you practice, what state you practice in.
So I practice in Beverly Hills, California. I am licensed here. And my website, like all my information, contact information, is at www.drkeishadowney.com. You can Google me, look me up. And then my social media handles are at Dr. Keisha Downey. That's DrKeishaDowney. And there are, episodes still airing on Couples Therapy with Dr. Jen. So you can find me anywhere.
Awesome. Well, we've been doing an interview this evening with Dr. Keisha Downey, marriage and family therapist, who is featured on VH1 Couples Therapy. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much. It's an honor, and I'm really grateful. Thank you for thinking of me and having me on the show.
Oh, and come back anytime.
Thank you. Enjoy yourself.
I know you wanna take my part in the limelight.